Welcome to a new update, and it's the day after the big tech stocks have been giving their earnings. Amazon has been going down heavily, Robinhood as well, Intel as well, but Apple has been saving the day, and because of that we can see that Europe is opening in green and the US is most likely going to open in green too, as the fear is going away. And what does that mean for Bitcoin? That's what we're going to discuss in this update. But before we are going to continue, make sure to subscribe beneath, like this YouTube update, and check me out on Twitter and Instagram where you can find daily content. And as it's Friday, today we are releasing a newsletter. We're doing that 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, for only $15 a month. My exclusive tips, altcoin trades, latest intel on the markets. Check out the description beneath for the link where you can subscribe to the newsletter. Now, when we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin, we're going to cover the fact that there is a big breakout coming at this point. The price action has been testing all the levels on the downside and the upside. The volume is draining away, so there is a big impulse move ready to break out of the markets at this point. However, the question is, which way is it going to go, and what is the actual impact of the dollar going to bring for Bitcoin at this point? And I think that there are a few important factors that you should take into account. First of all, we've got the Fed meeting next week, and most likely if Jerome Powell is going to give his speech, we'll be live streaming it here because we can see the immediate impact of the price action on, or at least the news on the price action of Bitcoin and the dollar. So that's what we're going to cover next week. That is the ultimate game changer. If that news comes out, you will see the reaction immediately in the markets, and you already see the reaction currently with the Fed bringing out news 2 weeks ago, and because of that news we saw the price action of Bitcoin drop down, as they were at least assuming, or they were saying, that the hikes are going to be heavier, 50 bips, and they also want to do the quantitative tightening. So we're going to wait out for next week what the impact will bring for that. Then second, we also had earnings season, and I think the overall consensus was that the earnings season would be worse or would not be beating the actual expectations, and that we will be having an impact on the price action of the indices, and that we will be going down. At least that's why the dollar has been showing strength, and that's why tech stocks have been showing weakness, as the expectations were that it would be worse than what we were expecting. Amazon didn't meet the actual standards, yes, but we also know Apple, and Apple did beat the earnings and did beat all of them, which resulted into the fact that Apple is still taking care of the indices. And that is giving us a result on the price action, which means the dollar is dropping down a little, the Europe markets are opening up in green, and we can see that the Bitcoin price is going to break out in a big move soon, and the expectation of it going up is increasing while the dollar is showing weakness. So I think that the odds of a breakout is going to increase here, and that's what we're going to discuss in the price action. So if we want to look at the price action of Bitcoin, we first have to look at the dollar, which I've got here on the screen. This is the US dollar currency index and the weekly chart, which means that the candle is a weekly candle. And we have seen a massive run previously. And we also, if we use the correlation, we can see that during every big run of the US dollar, Bitcoin is not really moving that much forward. In this case, we've had a big run, and I've been making this scenario a week ago, in which I was concluding that we've got those highs here, and usually what you will be seeing is that it takes out the liquidity above those highs, which generates enough volume to actually reverse the markets or continue downwards. And in this case, if we start zooming in a little bit, we can see that we have been sweeping these two highs here, and we are currently correcting, in which we can also see that the indicators are resulting ourselves into an overextended move. And I think that if we're going to correct a little bit more, this wick is going to assume that we're going to have some period of consolidation south. Based on the weekly time frame, we could even drop towards 99 points again. But based on the daily time frame, the first level is around 100, and I think that we can start correcting heavily. And I think that the odds of having a correction on the US dollar is increasing quite significantly here, which means that risk on assets can do well. If you're looking at euro dollar, we can also see that we have been taking the lows here. We have been sweeping this low, and we are also reaching ourselves into territories with the indicators to actually imply a long on the euro. We can also conclude that we are getting into a level that is important here over on the price action, in which we are still holding on to support, but at least a bounce all the way towards $1.09 or 1.09 could be a reason here, and it's the opposite of what the DXY is doing. When we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin, we can actually see a clear level that we should be holding on to, which is the 39k level. If you're looking into a trading portfolio that you can follow, I'm trading and I'm sharing that all in my platform, which you can see beneath. What we're seeing here is that we have been sweeping the low, regaining 39k, making a beautiful retest here, confirming the support, and from there we have been rushing all the way towards 40.3, which is the crucial breaker, and now we're just consolidating, which means that the actual level that we should be breaking out to, or at least the playing field, is getting really narrow. We have been testing all the levels here. So on the upside, we have been testing the 43k level, we have been testing the 40.6 level, and now we have been testing 40.3. So on the upside, the playing field is getting narrow. When we look at the downside, we've also been testing all these levels here, which has been done. So the liquidity has been taken around those levels, which implies that if there is going to be a breaker of this structure, it's going to be an impulse move. What I mean is that on the upside, the crucial level is 40.3. On the downside, it's 38.5 and 38k. Those levels have been tested, so if we get there again and break through them, it's very likely that we're going to have a significant impulse move and a clear direction of the markets. So in this case, the gray block is the playing field. On the downside, if we get there, probably it's going to be long territory. On the upside, if we get there and we don't break through, it's short territory. But I think that you should be positioned already. And if you want to get into a new position, you should be waiting until we get a clear breakdown beneath 38k. That is probably going to be short opportunities. And if we get back above 40.5 and flip that zone, that's going to be long territory. I'm long since 39. And I'm actually looking for longs a little bit more on the altcoins at this point, if Bitcoin is going to result itself into holding crucial support level, which is the 39k zone. If we do break 40.5, I think the next level to look at is the level around 43k, taking liquidity there, 43.2, which is already a move of approximately 10%. Now, when we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin, this playing field is probably going to be the playing field for the weekend too, except if the US markets are going to open in green. I could assume that we're going to get continuation here on the Bitcoin, especially since the dollar is showing a little bit of weakness. So a big breakout is around the corner. I'm assuming we're going to go upwards if the US dollar is going to show additional weakness, and especially if the Fed is not going to announce heavier tightening than what we're already expecting. That would mean that the dollar is going to get more weakness and that Bitcoin is resulting into an upwards move. That is the update for today. Tomorrow we're going to discuss a very interesting altcoin that I'm looking at, and on Sunday we do an on-chain analysis and we're going to combine the impact of the US dollar to Bitcoin. Subscribe beneath and I'll see you again tomorrow.